I'm not one of them people that need help figuring out who she is, and sure people scare people who aren't sure of themselves. For me, it's not a matter of how, it's a matter of when I'm gonna get there.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I am doing some reactions to some videos that I saved a while ago that I kind of wanted to make sure that I got my reaction on camera. Some of these topics are very important. It could be important for somebody's situation, so on, so on, so on. So today we are starting with some TikTok videos. Yay! Every time I'm on TikTok, I go down the wormhole. I get stuck. It's a lot of things that happen on TikTok that stay on TikTok, but I'm gonna try to bring some of it over to you today. So I don't really have much of an introduction. I just wanted to go ahead and get started. So let's get started. Start this over.
I'm not one of them people that need help figuring out who she is, and sure people scare people who aren't sure of themselves. For me, it's not a matter of how, it's a matter of when.
Honestly, the first part can be taken wrong if you don't actually understand what she's saying. Uh, to be sure of yourself is to be confident, is to be unwielding, is to be unmovable. You're decisive, you know what you want, and you go after what you want. And everybody doesn't have that surety in their life. They may not even have anything they want to go after at the moment that you meet them. So sometimes you just got to meet people where they are and let them be.
When I'm gonna get there. The how will get figured out on the way. It's a matter of when I'm gonna get to where I need to be because I know it'll happen. I don't like when people try to sit with me and therapize me or think we're about to have a conversation where I'm like crying in their arms. I don't know who I am.
I actually learned that this is a real thing. People really do wait for you to do that. They wait until you're at this really vulnerable moment, and then they want to be a savior. They want to come in and swoop and save you from yourself and be your guiding light. You think I'm exaggerating? I'm not. I'm not. People really, really do this.
Never. Hell will freeze over first. Like it's not happening. There's the things we share with people, and then there are the deep, deep things we talk about with God. You feel me? Like,
It's actually very important to have a distinction of what you share with others and what you keep to yourself. Um, it could be your best friend in the whole entire world, but they shouldn't know your deepest, darkest secrets. Uh, I think we all understand that some people can experience jealousy and envy just like any other emotion, but they just don't speak on it. They act on it. And there's one way to keep somebody from being able to destroy what you're building is to not tell them.
and then not for nothing, some of this stuff is gonna go in a journal somewhere. It's nothing I care to elaborate with you. And some people just want to see you down so they can say, "Yeah, I helped her up." People,
They, yes, they really, really, really do. I just said this. They want to see you down so they could be the ones to be like, yeah, I did that. Yeah, I put them in position. Yeah, I got them right here. In reality, they couldn't even do it for themselves.
want to be out here like, "Oh, I think this of you, and I perceive you this way," and that is within your right. Think what you want of everything. Think freely. Think hard. Think all the time. Do it because it's your God-given right. Question everybody and everything. However, don't sit here and tell me who I am. That's not an argument I will ever.
It's not an argument. It's not an argument. It's not a debate. It's not a conversation as much as where you can assert your criticism and I'm just supposed to accept it. It's not. It's just not.
Entertain. It's not happening.
That was the first one. I agree with her a lot on that. I remember why I saved the video now. Let's go here.
My followers ask me, how do you stop being afraid of your own power as like a very powerful woman? How do you stop feeling bad for making other people feel inadequate? And how I learned that was I stopped seeing all the bad things that have happened to me as a test or a punishment, and I start seeing them as like a badge of honor. Because some
There is a turning point because trauma will make you feel like your biggest accomplishment is your worst, what am I trying to say? Worst thing that you ever picked. Like you could have solved the one of the five math problems that's been unsolved by humans, and your brain will be like, That wasn't anything though. You should have already known that. You should already have known that. And you have to fight yourself through your doubts because you could be your biggest sabotager. You don't want to do that. You have to keep your thoughts in check. And I guess most people would say that this is you being positive and having positive affirmations, but it's not always that. Sometimes it's just being realistic and being able to put yourself back in reality and say, oh, okay, this is what's real. This is what's going on. This is what I'm building. This is what I'm focused on versus this is what I don't want. This is a fantasy. This is a dream type of thing.
Something about constantly viewing the negative things that happen to you as like a trial or a test or a tribulation, it puts you in a state of victimhood. And when you are a victim, you feel like you don't have a choice. You walk in a room and people give you the evil eye, or you
You know, there was a time where I believed I was a victim. I felt like a victim of circumstance. I didn't blame the world, but there were people that I was asserting a lot of accountability on that they're never going to take. So it was me being a victim all over again anyway. And I just want to say this. You know that you're out of victimhood when you can look at yourself and say, I am okay with the choices that I made. And whether they were right or wrong, whatever the outcome, I still love myself as if the outcome was the best thing that could ever happen to me, even if it was the worst thing that ever happened to me. You have to learn to trust yourself and trust your judgment because it's going to be shown why you chose what you chose anyway. So I'm just
feel
saying.
like somebody is like feeling weird about your energy, you feel like you don't have a choice but to tone it down because our brains naturally want to protect us. So a lot of times our first move when somebody is sending us negative energy is for us to adjust our energy to appease them.
She is absolutely right. And I guess you wouldn't, how do I say this? In a normal circumstance, in a normal situation, sometimes you bypass the fact that you're shrinking yourself because you want either approval, validation, or whatever from these other people. You want to be accepted. You want to feel the energy they feel. You know, you want to be in the spaces they're in or whatever. You shrink yourself and you end up in a situation where you're not operating at your potential. You're constantly compromising your light because you want to be around this person.
When I start seeing all the negative things that have happened to me as almost like a badge of fucking honor, it took me out of that learned helplessness and it made me realize I have a choice, bitch. I don't have to turn down for nothing. That light turned up. I have a choice and I deserve to walk in this power because look at all the things I've been through to get here. God would only bestow these type of things on a powerful person. I don't think God would put me through these things to walk around with my head down and act like I'm not that bitch because clearly I am. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made it through the things
Exactly. She's about to say, otherwise, I wouldn't have made it through the things that I've made it through. And that's where your confidence has to come from. You have to be confident with showing what you've been through, your ups and your downs, whatever. Badges of honor become armor, and armor gets you through life. That's where the term thick skin comes from, in my opinion. You have to be able to keep going. It's the repetition that makes the metal stronger. It's not the words that are being told to the metal, you are strong. No, it's the repetition of doing the things that make you strong and getting through them and just persevering. Like you got to keep going.
I've been through. Can't nobody ever make me feel bad about my power because I earned it. Okay? But when you are looking at all the negative things that are happening to your life, it's almost like, okay, this is another test, this is another trial. It puts you in a state of victimhood and not empowerment.
That was a good one. That was a real good one. But she didn't lie at all. She didn't lie at all in that one. I actually really like the way that she put it. Uh, what's the next one?
If a person starts acting weird towards you out of nowhere, all of a sudden, don't address it. And I know that's so hard for most people because it's like, no, I want to address it. I want to figure out why they acting like this all of a sudden, why they treat me like this out of nowhere. I promise you it's intentional. I promise you everything a person does is very much intentional. Their silence is intentional. Their avoidance is intentional. Their switch up is intentional.
People know what they're doing, and when you are trying to be on somebody's side, it's kind of like you downplay their adulthood is what I'm trying to say. You make excuses for them. You feel like you can appeal to their potential, so you slide on certain things and you just move on and you don't address it. But some things you just got to let people have. You just gotta let them have it. Because being provoked, you will feel angry at yourself more than you'll feel angry at the other person for provoking you. So that comes with discipline. You gotta keep yourself. It took me a long time to learn this one. Not gonna cap. It took me a very long time to get comfortable with this one. And it's because I felt as a child that whatever I said didn't matter anyway. So as an adult, I've just been trying to break out of that. But I also learned that everything doesn't have to be said. So
And the moment you realize that it is not your job to figure out why they are doing what they are doing to you, if
mm,
you know that you have been a great person to them and you actually showed up with pure intentions and you've been patient, fair, understanding, loving, all of the things, not your loss. So when I say pay it no mind, instead of sending them a text, a long drawn out message, instead of trying to seek clarity or closure, pay it with silence. Reward that behavior with your absence. They are not going to receive whatever you're about to say to them with a clear conscience.
that one gets me every time. People will not be able to accept what you're going to say to them with a clear conscience because on their conscience, they're not on the same level as where you are, meaning they can't even be happy with themselves long enough to be happy for you. So whatever you're going to say anyway, it's just going to make them feel worse about themselves, which in turn, they try to outwardly make you feel worse about yourself. So it's a never ending game.
Instead, they're probably going to either avoid even more or deflect. And that's going to have you feeling even more worse than what you're feeling right now. So
Hmm.
why give them another ounce of your vulnerability when they have not even handled the first portion you've given them
Hmm.
properly? Don't keep allowing
A
people
word.
to show you who they are over and over again. Don't do that. Instead, remove yourself the first time things feel off. Some stuff, yes, you can have a conversation about, but most of the time,
And that remove yourself the first time is very crucial. Because you let something slide once and it's gonna keep happening. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you let it slide once, it's going to keep happening until you nip it in the bud. And by the time you get ready to nip it in the bud, you don't even want to be around it no more. So nip that shit up at the very first time it comes around. The very first time it comes around, maybe you'll have a better outcome with said person.
things are very intentional. And if you can sense that something is off, most likely something is off. And you shouldn't be the only person doing the emotional labor. And
Ooh. Ooh, she just said a word. You should not be the only person doing the emotional labor. I don't think some people understand what that means. I'll give you an example. If a person constantly comes around you when they have a problem and they want your advice to solve said problem, you're doing emotional labor for them. You are in a situation where you only feel that you're useful to somebody when you're doing something for them, period. You're you're doing most of the emotional labor. If a person is in a conversation with you and they constantly bring up topics they don't know anything about just to hear your opinion on them so they can learn about them, you're doing emotional labor, especially when it comes to everyday life. If you give out advice for free, you're doing emotional labor. That's why therapists get paid.
any relationship. So allow people to show you who they are and believe them the first time they show you. And remove yourself or act accordingly.
That was a good one. I think we got one good one left, y'all. Let me see. Oh, a couple ones actually.
Speaking of a woman's softness, how men kill a woman's softness without even realizing it, emotional immaturity
Mm,
is one of the ways. When a
mm.
man makes her feel like she's too emotional, too sensitive, too much, she learns to suppress her softness just to keep the peace. And silence replaces connection. And here's the part people don't talk about: her softness didn't just disappear, she hid it. She stopped sharing her feelings. She stopped asking for reassurance. She stopped saying what hurt her. Not because she wanted to, but because every time she did, it turned into an argument. Or she was told she was being dramatic or
That
told she
part.
was doing too much. So she learned to be quiet. She
Mm.
learned to be strong. She learned how to handle things. And men think she just changed. No, she adapted.
A woman is soft where she feels safe. If she's guarded, something taught her to be. So if you ever wonder why she doesn't open up anymore, ask yourself if her feelings were protected or pushed away. If this hits, save it and send it to someone.
Y'all, you know, she said a couple of good things in here that I resonated with. First of all, being called strong as a woman pisses me off. It pisses me off. I don't want to be a strong woman. Now, physical attributes, being strong enough to do physical things, yeah, cool. But I don't want to have to be emotionally strong for nobody. I want to be able to be emotionally vulnerable and that be okay. I don't want to have to constantly be the strong one, hold my feelings in. Just like she said, that dissipates any type of connection that you're building with that person if they can't even come to you as themselves. Two, I've had a few conversations with men about how they feel about women's emotions, and it's kind of half and half. Half, well, I'm being generous. About 30% say that they understand women have emotions. They're not going to make her change to keep him comfortable. The other 70%, this new age thinking, has been, if you don't care about my feelings, why should I care about yours? Type of response. And I still don't understand what men expect us to do when they vent, other than just being there for them, because that's what y'all do for us. I mean, a man that really listens, he's not going to really do anything but listen. So sometimes y'all bring up in arguments that ain't got nothing to do with me. However, it should not be a battleground over us being vulnerable with each other. We got to figure this out, because at the end of the day, it's not going to get any better. And the kids who are growing up in this and they see this emotional unavailability, immaturity, uh, not taking accountability, then that's what the next generation is going to do. Like, seriously, kids watch everything. So personally, me, I'm hard on parents, because you have somebody that's looking up to you, that you're taking care of, that you are molding into a person that's going to be in society. I'm still trying to get over the traumas that I experienced as a kid and young adult to be able to function as a normal person in society. And being vulnerable is one of those things I thought I could do. I could just, that person said they understood and blah blah blah. Then, you just believe that it's an available thing at all times, and it's not been the case. So I brought this video up because a lot of men have asked me, like, why do you have attitude? And this is not the attitude. It's not an attitude. It's a state of being when you're constantly being pushed down, and you can't expand your light because other people feel intimidated by that, or they just don't care for you, so they don't nurture your light as you give them light. They don't reciprocate, is what I also mean. I think you got one more video. This one might be a long one.
I'm just gonna jump right in because the comments in my DMs, I'm gonna address my DMs first. A lot of us are DMing me to ask me how to begin the process of decentering, because like some women just the programming has just been so intense that like I
Before we get too deep into this video, I'm going to address this. Um, my definition of decentering men is not saying, "Oh, f all men, we can live life without them, women only society." No, my idea of decentering men comes from the fact that some people will literally center a man around their life. They do everything with him in mind. They have to make every decision with him in mind, even when it's just with their friends and they get to have the opportunity to just do them and be themselves. They still think about that man. Decentering men for me is just removing the focus from relationships or infatuations or situationships or anything you want to call it, to myself, into the things I like, into my friends. Like the things that women used to do anyway before I hate to say it like this, before the whole notion of equality came about, men were very adamant about us just being in our own social circles and doing women things. Now suddenly they want our opinions on a lot of stuff because we low-key have better opinions in some areas. But it doesn't always translate to I appreciate you. We still get used for our advice. A lot of women, if things in the 70s and up until now hadn't progressed for women to be able to be independent, we wouldn't have this conversation because we would still be censoring men. We would have to, men and children. We do not anymore. So society looks different. Um, and a lot of us take a different leap. But I'm gonna let her explain a little bit more.
Can't help but care about what a man thinks. I can't help but let a man's opinion shape my identity, the way I see myself, the way I see the world, and the way I see other people. What I have been saying, what the way that my answer to that is, just make us a list. Get in the comments and make us a list of all the ways that caring about a man's opinion has enriched your life.
And fellas, I encourage you to do the same. You can decenter women. It's not gonna hurt my feelings. Honestly, it would make me feel better that you put your focus into you and your community and building. And when love does come around for you, it's actually something you want and not something you feel obligated that you have to do. Because that's gonna kill a lot of baby mama, baby daddy situations and all that type of stuff. Like, this is just what I got.
Let us know how all the ways caring about a man, cared about what a man thought made your life better. One of my loved ones spent her whole time putting her makeup on, and she do such a beautiful job putting her makeup on. And then she is beautiful without makeup, but when she puts her makeup, she just does such a beautiful job with her eyebrows, everything. And she spent that whole time putting her makeup on and disparaging herself. Well, my daddy wouldn't like this. My daddy would say he don't her daddy don't like eyelashes. Her daddy don't like her contour. Her daddy don't like her tattoos. Her daddy don't like that she wear long nails. And the whole time she talking, and I met her daddy. I don't see it for him. When I look at him, I don't see a man whose opinion should be valuable to any woman. He don't have his own shit together, and he disparaging my loved one because she want to put an eyelash on. Please, y'all.
That is one thing about men. I don't think y'all understand. Y'all be mean, and it be unwarranted. It be uncalled for because what is your daughter doing with her life got to do with you? You want to date her or something? I'm confused. How you gonna try to control how she looks when you're not gonna be the man taking care of her? Even if you are taking care of her as a father, you signed up for that. You don't get to just pass the torch to the next dude. Like that's old patriarchal rules.
Please. Their opinions have us treating each other poorly, treating ourselves poorly, disparaging ourselves, disparaging others. I said their opinions make us small. They make us think low of ourselves. They make us think low of each other. We can't even have conversations. Though, and then, okay, I'm gonna talk about this again. The women who only are married because they need marriage to make them superior to other women. So they're falling out with me. They're falling out with me because
That's something that's not talked about enough. I swear. Especially, it's not even marriage. It's not even just marriage these days. It's literally just having a man in your vicinity, and a woman will turn on you. She will turn. Okay, I'm gonna give an example. I worked in a couple places that were kind of female centered. Mostly females work there, if any men work there at all. Okay. The time they do hire a man, or by the time a man comes and is a part of whatever's going on, oh baby, some women will switch on you. They will, ooh, they want his attention. They want to have all the conversations with him. They want him to help her all the time. He can't be friends with nobody else, so she gonna feel the type of way. It's like, excuse me, he's not even yours. What are you doing? And just they be looking dumb. They be looking stupid.
how dare I tell you that we're not better because we have husbands and children. We're not better. We're not better. We're not better. Listen, we're not. I said your quality, if you don't have a man and child living in your house, your quality of life is high. I don't give a fuck if
There actually have been studies to say who are the happiest people, and it was married men and single women were the happiest. The most unhappy people were married women and single men. I just let that sit in.
you wake up every day lonely as the dickens. I don't care if you wake up every day fiending for somebody to touch you on your inside parts and call your damn name, girl. Your quality of life is still. I don't. It don't matter that I sleep next to my girl. Please, 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 please. Loneliness is not death. Do not invite a loser into your orbit because you're lonely and you want somebody to touch you on your inside parts. The girls were in the live. Listen, touch yourself on the inside parts, love. Was sharing all kinds of tools and trinkets that you can go off and buy so that you don't have to worry about that.
As a dom, I approve this message. There's so many toys out there, y'all. You do not need another person. We are in a new era, okay? We're in a new era. I can't even talk too much on this video about it because I have other videos I want to talk about it with. But we're in a new era, man.
And then what was hilarious to me, and I was talking about this in the last, I had birds flying around my head because I told y'all I goes through those comments. I goes through those comments to make sure there are. If it's a man over here, he's inconspicuous. He's not. He's stealth. He's not talking. He's not talking. And if he's talking, he's getting kicked the fuck out immediately. The last guy that got kicked out was on the video about me telling y'all that we don't give a fuck about what. I'm just gonna make my point. He over there calling me DL girl because I don't care about a man's opinion.
Oh, that old. Men still do this. Y'all still think that just because we don't like you, that we just automatically only swing for girls? Some of us love men so much. Some of us only tolerate y'all, and some of us hate y'all. So we gotta be throwing around that insult like it's an insult. Like you just must be swinging for the other team. You need a man in your life. It ain't gonna be you.
First of all I have been doing is being loud and rambunctious about how much I love and cherish and revere women. I have not been quiet. I have not been quiet about the romance and the intimacy that I have experienced from women. If I wanted to touch vaginas with you all, I would be touching vaginas with you. I don't have to be on the DL about that. They gonna talk about me anyway. They gonna talk about me whether I'm married, whether I'm single, whether I'm gay, whether I'm asexual. The people are going to have something to say about how you're handling yourself anyway because they want to make you small. Okay? I don't have to be. Listen, I'm not. Listen, I'm not on the DL about how much I love a woman, how much I cherish one, the way they smell, how beautiful their skin is, how supple. Anyway, just wanted to say that. Just wanted to say that. Merry Christmas and have a good day.
That was a good one. That was a good one. I think I'm gonna end it here. This is about a 30-minute video as I'm filming. Share your thoughts. What do you think? Drop some comments if you haven't started already. If you made it this far, spam my comments with the party hat emoji. See how that tracks. But yes, thank you. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I am here. I will be doing more, and I am looking forward to being your enjoyment. So, see you then.